Down on illegal immigration is starting to affect the Texas agriculture industry. Some farmers say their workers are too scared to show up for work.
Oh no, this is so sad. There are a bunch of white Texas farmers who are losing their farms right now. Because guess what? 100% of their workforce vanished.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren.
And I'm Maureen.
Right. So in today's episode, we're going to be looking at Texas farmers. And one thing I can tell you for sure is they're not happy. Right now, they're regretting voting for Trump because according to them, they're experiencing huge losses because of his policies.
Right. And most of these farmers are saying that their workers are not turning up because they're in fear of being deported, and hence their crops are in very big numbers getting ruined in their farms. So guys, let's take a look at what we prepared for you today, and then we come back and talk about it. You can also let us know what you think about this episode and consider subscribing if you're new to our channel.
Let's watch and then we come back.
Down on illegal immigration is starting to affect the Texas agriculture industry. Some farmers say their workers are too scared to show up for work. Fox 4's Casey Stegall spoke with the Texas Agriculture Commissioner about the recent immigration raids. Casey.
Hey, Steve, good to see you. The state Republican Agriculture Commissioner tells me that the stepped-up immigration enforcement is taking a toll on the industry, not just here in Texas, but beyond, while federal immigration authorities say they're only doing their jobs. Just 40 miles or so south of the Dallas hustle and bustle,
row crops, hay production,
sits Lee Calvert's 2,000-acre Ellis County family farm.
My father helps me. Obviously, my little sister helps. My wife, huge help. I've got 3 sons, and they're coming along and doing what they can.
Calvert knows he's lucky not having to rely on farm hands to check the chores off, because those who do say absenteeism among hired migrant help has disrupted their entire operations.
They hear that ICE is coming, or they see somebody from INS roll up. Well, they just don't show up. They're scared to come to work.
Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller tells Fox 4 dairy farmers have been hit the hardest.
But on a dairy, those cows, they never stay milked. You milk them 3 times in a 24-hour period. So if the crew doesn't show up, these dairymen go into panic mode.
Recent video posted to immigration rights groups' social media channels shows federal agents conducting raids on California farms.
Texas is continuing the F around and find out stage. Guess what just hit 0 before Donald Trump's approval rating? Right there. Farm labor attendance, 0. Entire fields, whole crews are ghosting fields, leaving fruits and vegetables to rot because the Donald Trump administration is too busy playing cat and mouse with people who just want to feed America. To the MAGA people who are saying that immigrants are taking your job, this right here is your opportunity. Pick yourselves up by the bootstraps, get those buckets, and pick those strawberries. No more hiding behind those welfare checks that are padded behind blue state dollars. You wanted the raids, you got them. Now get in those fields and pick those fruits and vegetables before you watch the produce aisle turn to a luxury boutique section. Chop chop, MAGA, and that's it.
Hello, Americans who like to eat. I'm Linda, and I want to talk about empty grocery shelves. They are coming. And sooner than we think. There's a 3,000 per day immigrant detention quota. 40% of farm workers in the United States are undocumented. You do the math. Farms are an excellent place to find undocumented immigrants to detain and deport, depleting the workforce. And now, those who haven't been rounded up are afraid to show up. Let's look at just one state, Texas. According to farmers, this issue has been affecting their farms for a couple of weeks, but overnight, it bottomed out. On several Texas farms, nearly 100% of farm workers aren't showing up. So what does that mean for you? Remember Trump's comment about having $2 instead of 30? Cows are milked 3 times a day. No workers, no milk, and some very unhappy cows. What if your grocery store, instead of getting 30 gallons of milk, gets 2? 28 families will not be able to buy milk. Now extrapolate that among produce. Produce that instead of being harvested is rotting on the vine. Texas is one of the top 10 producers of 40 major commodities. It is the 4th largest agriculture producer in the nation and 2nd in animal products. And it's not just cows not being milked and produce rotting on the vine. 1 in 7 Texans works in an agriculture-related job. If farms stop working, those jobs are affected. Workers not earning money aren't paying taxes. And yes, undocumented workers pay taxes. Without money coming in, they will cut back on things like restaurants and small businesses, movie theaters, wherever they spend their discretionary income. Last week, Trump ordered a halt to immigration enforcement at farms. But it may already be too late to solve the current problem. The lack of workers now mean farms won't hit full production this year. And if they lose planting now, there is nothing to harvest later. Yet, despite Trump's assurances, a few days after his statement, the administration resumed the raids. Vance says the administration plans to continue clearing the country of undocumented immigrants. Quote, "We're enforcing everywhere. In other words, you ought to voluntarily go back and come through the proper channels," unquote. That can literally take years. And frankly, it doesn't protect you from being deported. In the meantime, the question remains, how long are you willing to go without food?
Whoa, 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 what is going on in Texas? Texas is taking a 1, 2, 3 punches. First with farmers. Oh, farmers are taking it on the chin. These tariffs are no good for farmers in Texas. But that's not it. $60 oil? $60 oil for oil companies down in Texas? Yeah, loss of jobs and companies going bankrupt is on the menu. Yeah, $60 oil in Texas, no bueno. And the third hit to the stomach happened today. Yeah, China's saying no to Texas beef. Yeah, China will not be receiving Texas beef anymore. So that is 3 punches that Texas just can't take. Farmers, the oil, and now the beef. Texas is in real trouble. What are they going to do? I don't know. But as long as these tariffs hang around, it's going to keep getting worse and worse and worse. And Texas is now in big trouble.
There are no words that are sufficient to express how much I love watching these farmers right here reap what they have sown. May their fields lay barren and their familial land, their ancestral land, may it be bought for pennies on the dollar, because they got what they voted for. On the flip side, I just want to send some love and encouragement to the immigrants that are fearful and worried about what tomorrow looks like. Because I get it. We're living in a shit show, y'all.
Donald Trump has shifted ICE from focusing on criminal immigrants to going after easier targets such as job sites to pump his numbers up. But farms are hurting because of this, as many of their workers are either being deported or not showing up for fear of being caught up in these raids. And because of this, they're essentially shut down and no work can be done. Just take a listen to one farmer.
3 weeks, it started to slow, but this last week or so has been huge. That's when it's like 0 people wanting to come out and
yeah, 0 people going to work the farms. And while yes, these farmers are in the find out phase, we're all going to be in it, because they're talking that our food supply is going to be shut down or have major interruptions. And it's not just Texas, it's California and Washington. We are finding out that yes, immigrants do help the American economy. Immigrants are part of the American fabric. We just didn't realize it till it was too late.
It's Joe from Georgia. So this is news out of Texas. But folks, these are alarm bells ringing for the entire United States. And our government is not listening. Overnight, multiple farms in the state of Texas completely shut down. And the reason for this shutdown was because they have lost almost 100% of their workforce. Now, we know this is the result of the immigration raids and stricter enforcement. But the ripple effect is going to be felt all the way across this country. Now, you've got crops that are rotting in the fields. You have livestock that is not being attended to at all. And that takes a lot of personnel. And we're talking, so now we're getting every area of food to include meat. And the communities that surround these farms, those businesses and those people who depend on the income from these farms, it's creating disasters for small communities in Texas. Now, this is not stopping at Texas farms. This is going to end up all the way across America, especially in the breadbasket, the middle of the nation, because they have tons of immigrant help. But folks, the alarm bells are ringing. Your food on your plate is being affected.
So guys, welcome back. Let us know what you think about the videos we just played you here. You know, Texas obviously is a red state, and they were they played a big role in President Trump winning. They are known to be Republicans. A lot of them support the Republican Party, and when they were voting for President Trump, they did really believe that the president was gonna make their lives better. He was gonna bring policies that were going to, you know, better their farms, and they did believe that they were being sold, you know, the promises they were being sold. So they did believe that President Trump would be good for them. But right now, a lot of them are crying, and we are seeing a lot of them losing their ancestral lands, if not the income they get from the farms, you know.
And right now, we've been seeing a lot of TikTok videos going viral of a lot of shelves being empty, right? And right now, as this lady was saying, the palm-colored woman was saying that this is affected because there's nobody in the farms to harvest these crops, and there's nobody in the farms to milk the cows, you know.
Right.
So groceries are meant to shoot up, especially starting with the Texas state.
Right. Here is where you normally talk of a chain reaction, you know.
Right.
One thing affecting another thing that affects the other thing, and it's all interconnected. And I think I saw a video of President Trump somewhere where he was talking about he would consider, you know, leaving immigrants alone if the people who employ them take custody of them or something like that, if they are in charge of the workers.
Right. And this, I think it means that they should ensure they're hiring legal migrants, not illegal ones.
Anyway, he did say that he would leave them alone if the employer takes charge of them, you know. And I'm saying, for him to even come out and make that statement, I feel like it's because he's getting a lot of pressure. Because guys, can you picture a situation where, because if you look at how all these things are affecting the economy of America, that he has to be receiving a lot of noise in his ears, you know, a lot of backlash, because like it's every sector that is being affected. There's a guy here who talked about Texas being hit thrice. They were being hit in terms of employees, in terms of the oil, like prices of things are going up, and right now there's shortages of some things in some areas because of how employees are not turning up for work, you know. So if a lot of produce is is lost because, let's say for example, they're being spoiled while they're still in the farms, you know, then how are you going? It means the little that is available that gets to make it to the shelves is gonna really skyrocket the prices, you know. They're trying to recover their losses. So that is really, this situation is not good for anybody, you know.
Right. And I also saw a clip here where a machine was being compared to
a Tesla machine.
A Tesla machine was being compared to how human resources, how humans work on the farm, right? And it showed, or it alluded, that humans are more faster than these machines.
Not just humans, because you can say palm-colored people, you know, who are working on. Can you compare the palm-colored people and the Hispanics who work on farms?
Okay, so let's just say immigrants are more hardworking than the machines, or work faster than the machines, because here's a case whereby maybe they were doing this thing where they're deporting even the legal immigrants so that they could replace them with machines that people would have to buy expensively under the pretense of it's only a one-time purchase and that they won't be paying these machines per month to work, right? But or per week to work. But the problem is that according to this video, these machines aren't as efficient or effective as the human workers who used to work those farms.
Right. And personally, I would discourage that kind of system, because the moment they get you to become addicted to the services of these machines, or they get you to be dependent on them, then they're going to bring some type of things, because they're always looking for a way to benefit these big corporates, you know.
Right. Just like the Apple company, you can't, yes, you have to buy a charger and then also buy not a charger, but a phone, and then you buy a specific charger that charges that phone. So at the end of the day, you end up spending on other things that come with that machine.
Right. Because guys, I do remember there was a point in life where if you wanted to buy a mobile phone, it came with its own charger, its own earphones.
And also when your charger spoiled, you could borrow another charger.
You know.
It didn't require a very specific charger.
Right. But right now, they're creating problems that only you will need to go back to them
the parent company.
You know, right now, a company like Samsung, to be honest, you cannot get a full Samsung kit. You have to buy the phone separately, and then you have to buy the earphone separately, you have to buy the charger separately, and it takes a specific type of charger. You can't just use, like, for example, iPhone charger on a Samsung charger, or a Nokia charger on a Samsung charger, you know.
Right. But also, this being said, we do recognize that technology is inevitable, and change is also inevitable. And this being said, I do believe that there are other machines other than the ones that we've been shown here today. There are other machines that can be faster than humans and can be more efficient than human beings. We are not disputing that fact.
And guys, let us know what you think about this episode. You know, right now, you could just say, I think the farmers are getting what they voted for, because, to be quite honest, how are you going to vote for a candidate whose policies you've not internalized and understood, you know?
Yes.
Because, to be honest, I'm also surprised this time around that a lot of white people, a lot of Hispanics, they voted for Donald Trump. And right now, people like MAGA farmers, you know, these people really supported President Trump. But that right now, they're the ones who are crying because they didn't expect to be going through this type of hardships, you know? And I feel like right now they're complaining because it's affecting them personally. But okay, also I look at this group of people, and I try to understand from their point of view. I do believe that some of them need to be educated about these policies, because some of them, I do believe, they only just go out to vote because, you know those type of situation where
because sometimes a candidate might look good on paper but practically,
and also it's one of your
it's
own,
another
you know.
thing. Yeah.
But I don't really truly believe that they're educated to the level where they can understand, like, what is happening right now, how these policies specifically, affect people. Because if someone would have gone there, even their own type should have gone there to talk to them, for them to listen, you know, and tell them, look, if we implement these policies, because a lot of farmers in America, especially palm colored, they should know that those farmers are held together by immigrants, you know.
Right. Therefore, but also at the same time, sometimes it's difficult to talk to people who do not or are not willing to listen to you, because
that's also a point.
At the time, a lot of Black Americans came onto the internet, and we could see even here in Africa how they were trying to educate the masses about the differences between these two politicians when they were vying for the seat.
Their policies.
And their policies, you know. So Trump looked good on paper, even especially because he's a business mogul and all of that, you know.
Yeah, but he had it. He seemed like the perfect candidate.
But nobody was willing to listen to the Black community, especially palm-colored and Latino people. I will vote, you know. So right now, this is one of those very few instances where you usually say experience is the best teacher. And sadly, when it teaches them a lesson, it has to teach also other groups of people, and all Americans in general suffer because of the decision of people who voted the way they did.
Right. So let's just hope they're learning a great lesson from this. And I feel like for the Black American community, they've always learned a lesson What lesson? To just sit down and allow karma to teach those people who need to be taught a lesson. Don't interfere with
the work of karma, because also they always some people say that when God is giving punishment and you try to help the people who are being punished, you are interfering with the process of them learning,
right? So maybe they were meant to learn this hard way for them to remember,
to remember what is important. But this is what keeps happening through time immemorial. White people will just knowingly or consciously walk into something that is bad for them, thinking that it will affect black people more than it will affect them. And then they end up crying the same tears as black people. And our greatest example will always be the Obamacare. That was like the cherry on top of the cake, of how these people vote against their own interests, so long as it means it locks out black Americans.
And how foolish people felt to the shocking look on people's faces when they go and try to use their the Medicaid, and they realized that it was the same that was serving the black community, only that in the black community was being called something Obamacare. People felt foolish, and that is because they voted against their own interest without knowing. But what can we say, guys? Let us know what you think about this episode.
And also consider subscribing if you're new to our channel. And we'll see you on our next episode. And as always, we thank you for joining us and for keeping us company today.
Remember to subscribe.
Right.